Okay.
This is
And
Mr. Williams.
Lyndon,
Yeah.
Emerson,
Hunter.
Hunter, Joanne, Hakeem, and Elena.
Elena.
Where are you in school, Elena?
I go to Voyager.
You go to Voyager?
Yeah, I go to Voyager Academy, sorry.
So Voyager and
Cardinal Gibbons?
DSA.
DSA,
Right.
Cardinal Gibbons.
Cotton Gibbons,
DSA.
DSA, Voyager.
Okay, so Hunter's got our first question.
You want me to start number 4? Okay. So, what are you planning to do about affordable housing, and what's kind of the future of this?
I'll start with affordable housing.
Yeah.
The first thing we need to do is we need to recognize what the problem is. You've asked a good question because it's probably our most important problem. A lot of people can't afford to live in our city anymore, especially people of color. We have a lot of homelessness, and we also have a situation where even middle-class families, sometimes two-income families, can't afford to buy a home in Durham anymore. We have a real affordability crisis, and we have to do something about it. And we have on the ballot on November 5th a $95 million affordable housing bond, and let me tell you what it will do. The big number I want you to keep in mind is this. It will affordably house 15,000 people. 15,000 people. So that's a lot of Durham people. It won't nearly do everything we need to do in Durham for affordable housing, but it will take a big bite out of the apple. We'll create 1,600 new affordable units. We'll keep 800 units. We'll preserve 800 affordable units now and keep them permanently affordable for people. We'll rehouse 1,700 homeless families. This is all over a 5-year period. We'll create 400 homeownership opportunities for first-time home buyers, low-income home buyers who haven't been able to buy a home. And we'll stabilize about 3,000 families in their homes through eviction diversion, through home repairs. And is that my time? Yeah, and so we have a big job to do, but we can do it if we can pass the bond.
I'm sorry about the short time limit. We're
No
trying to get
worries.
through all 5 questions.
Totally get it.
Affordable housing. I'm against the bond. One reason I'm against the bond is because Durham, Duke University, self-help, purchased 125 acres in south side of Durham under the pretense of creating affordable housing. Didn't happen. They have $340,000 homes in the area now. And this gentrification, as I told someone today, it's not just blacks, but it's whites too, so they've been living there for years. And they cannot even afford to stay in those communities because the taxes, they put in these $340,000 houses. Besides, people living in their neighborhoods and communities for 30, 40, 50 years. And their taxes are going up so high, they can't afford to pay their taxes, much less the mortgage is there. And so the thing that has to happen is that we have to be willing to put money towards it. What they're doing now, I mean, it's a sham. And that's what it is. When they talk about affordable housing, you look at McDougal Terrace, the oldest project in the city of Durham. Do you think they started there, repairing there, what they said they're supposed to be doing? No, they started downtown, where they've already invested over $1 billion. And instead of going to places that's really needed, like McDougal Terrace, one of the oldest projects that's in disrepair, as Anthony Scott, head of DHA, said, that is $19 million in disrepair, the total housing authority. Thank you for cutting me off.
Where's our sheet?
It is.
Oh, Hunter has it. So whose turn is it? Whose turn is it? Is it? It's Elena's, I think. She'll be number 4.
So, how could you improve access to mental health resources for you?
I'll let you go first.
All right.
It's more challenging.
Yeah, so that's not mainly the job of the city. That's mainly the job of county government and state government. We don't provide a lot of mental health services, but I think there are some things that we have really. There are a lot of things that our community needs to do, and so let me talk about those. The first thing is that we need to bring mental health services to where young people are. So we need a lot more mobile mental health services. We can't expect young people, or really anyone, to be going to a single place to get their mental health services. So that's one thing we need to do. Another thing we need to do is that we need to make mental health services available in schools. We need school psychologists. We have a few, but very few, considering the number of students that we have in Durham Public Schools, so that our young people, when they have a crisis, have access to that. We need to make sure that our mobile response is really good. We also have mental health services that are emergency mental health services. and we need to make sure that we're increasing the speed with which our mental health services are arriving at emergencies, and whether it be a drug overdose or some sort of other problem like that, and a lot of our young people are experiencing those things. So it's not the city's job particularly, but it is our community's job, and we have to do it.
As a pastor, and I see this on a regular basis, we have mental health issues. And one of the ladies attending our church, she's a school psychologist. And one of the things she was saying that a lot of the children coming to school now, I mean, they don't know where they're going to sleep from one night to the next, don't know what they're going to eat from one day to the next. And all these things can combine to create these mental issues where you're trying to figure things out as a young person. You're not old enough to figure it out, so it causes different types of levels of stress. One of the things that I've been talking with her is that we need to have more psychologists in the school system, really, to address the issues that a lot of the young people are having with life, dealing with life. Things that, through no fault of their own, they can't answer why mom or dad or why they're the way they are. But they have to deal with those issues of mom and dad. And so we need more school psychologists who can actually address some of these issues that these young people have. And as I say, one of the things that I do, I think the community be more engaged. As a pastor, as a church, that's what we're doing. We're trying to engage people in areas like that who are on the street, who are homeless. And a lot of people you see homeless and on the streets, all those folks, they have mental issues. And because they have no places to go, they find themselves sleeping on the streets. So I think that having greater community involvement will be one of the ways we can address it.
Yeah, let's do hockey.
How could you increase schools funding or better use of schools funding to improve youth education?
Well, that's not really, it's Durham County. But I think what thing that we've done as the church, we've adopted different schools because we realized, as I said, school psychologist attends the church, and she, talking about, some teachers don't even have, pencils, don't have notebooks for the children. And so what we've done, we've adopted schools where we can help supply some of those needs that they have. And that's one of the things, that we've done, as far as on the local, but, as far as the county, what they can do. We need to understand that there needs to be a push or a need to address these issues in our school system, because it's not going to just happen if there's not the will to make it happen. And one of the reasons that I'm running for mayor, because I'm not about talk, I'm about action. Making sure these things that are needed can happen. And like I said, what we've done as far as things we can actually do, we partner with schools to address some of those inadequacies.
So thank you. That was a great question. So I've had a lot of involvement in our public schools. I used to coach soccer here at Riverside. I used to coach the girls varsity and the boys JV right here. And one of my sons went to DSA. They both went to EK Poe, and one went to DSA, and one went to Brockton and Riverside. So I've seen our schools. I've been on the school board, and I've seen what our schools need, and they have tremendous needs. And the main thing that I think that we need to be doing is we need to, as a state, in the state of North Carolina, but also our county has a role in this too, we need to be making sure that our teachers are well paid. The best thing that we can do for education is to make sure that we have good teachers who are well paid, so that our good teachers are going to want to stay good teachers. One of our problems that we have in schools, maybe our biggest problem, is we have a lot of teacher turnover. Teachers start, they learn their trade over the first couple of years, and then their pay is not enough, something else comes up, and they go to another profession. We need to make sure that we're really paying our teachers well, so that they will remain teachers over the long term. And I think that's the way we're going to get the best education. About half of our teachers in Durham Public Schools have been teaching less than 5 years, and we need to change that equation. We all need to have good veteran teachers.
Okay, was that
So we got Hunter next.
the first one?
So what did you think about lowering the voting age? Because I know that that's a thing that only the state government can do, but I mean, it has to start with a city government. So
Sure, go ahead.
I, as a parent, grandparent, myself having been young once, I think that, and right now, as I go through the city of Durham, talking to adults, they don't understand the issues. They don't understand the affordable housing bond. They don't understand not getting the 72 police officers the chief of police requested. And so to put that kind of decision in the hands of someone who don't fully grasp what's going on, just like with the participatory budget, I think that was a shame. You have 13 years old voting on where money's going to go, $2.4 million, and they're saying, Mom, how do I vote? Dad, how do I vote? They don't understand the issues. And I know, because I have children, grandchildren, I know at your age you can't fully grasp what's going on here in the city. And so it's whoever give the best presentation, the best performance. Another thing about that, with the that is that a lot of it was related to you doing it online. A lot of the poor people didn't have computers, didn't have access to that kind of system. And so to try to put that in there and say, during the voting age, no, I think that needs to be greater education. I'm not in favor of lowering the voting age.
So what I think about lowering the voting age is that we ought to give our young people a real, honest way to practice. And I think that one real, honest way to practice is participatory budgeting, which we have in the city now. And we just put it in this year, and we had 10,000 people vote, and a lot of them were young. We let people vote as young as 13. Did any of you all vote in participatory budgeting? It's awesome. Well, next time we'll do it next year. Not this year, but the year after. It's fantastic. We put $2.4 million in the pot, and we asked people from all over the city to give their ideas, and they could be any age, 13 and above, for their ideas for things that they want to see funded by the city for this $2.4 million. So that's a lot, but our whole budget is about $500 million, so it's not that much in the budget, but it's still real. And then people vote on the projects that have been nominated. And as I say, we had over 10,000 voters, which is a lot. That's a tremendous number of people. And it allowed a lot of our young people to really, truly see that they could influence what was going on in our democracy in a way that is real. And so we used that participatory budgeting to fund some parks, some school improvements, some sidewalks, things that people in our community really want.
So next is
and Steve gets an alternate funding request.
for number 2.
Okay, so how do you think you could improve access to mental health resources for youth?
I think we just answered that.
Yeah.
Oh, did we?
5?
Oh, 5.
Oh yeah. How do you plan to encourage people to use public transportation?
Shall I start with it? So we have a big bus system in Durham. We have 20,000 people a day get on our bus system. It's huge. And the ways that we can encourage people to use it more are several of them. One is that we can keep our fares low, keep it very inexpensive. And right now the average fare is about 32 cents, and you all ride free. All of you all can ride our bus system for free. We have to make sure that the buses come as often as they can. We have to increase the frequency with which they come. We need to add more routes. And the other thing we need to do is we need to add more bus shelters. We have about 1,100 bus stops, but only about 300 of them have shelters. It's real expensive to build a shelter.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry, so that
All right.
Mr. Williams can have a chance to
Well,
answer.
so what he said, as far as you want to make sure that people can afford to ride the bus, who need to ride the bus, by reducing the fares. If you can make it free for people to ride the bus. And also you need to have more routes too, because I've heard, different ones say that the bus is not coming to the area where they live. I think you can increase the route frequency too. That would help a lot.
So I think that's about time. Oh, they're about to switch. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you all.
Yes.
Thanks for doing it.